Hey everyone, welcome to another session of the StayFi Marketing Mastery Series. Today we are going to be talking all about text marketing, which I'm super excited to go through. If you haven't been to one of these so far, these take place every other week, and all of the recordings are posted to the StayFi YouTube channel. So if you want to go and watch the other two sessions, which were on upselling through the host co and Viator and StayFi, as well as email marketing, how to get started, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch those. During the course of this presentation, if you have questions, please use the Q&A part of Zoom, not the chat. And that way we can cover all your questions either during the presentation or right after. The next session that we're going to have on August 6th is all about email marketing. So if you have been curious about how to do email marketing better, or maybe haven't started yet doing email marketing at StayFi, we're going to cover a ton of different case studies and show examples of what is working for short-term rental operators all around the world. And that way you can take and implement those insights into your own business. And then, as I said before, all the previous sessions are available on our YouTube channel. So definitely go and check those out if you haven't, because there's a lot of valuable information about both upselling and email marketing in the first two sessions that we did. Today, as I mentioned, is going to be all about text marketing. I'm not only going to use this presentation, I'm also going to dive into our test StayFi account and show you what it actually looks like in StayFi to use text marketing. In my opinion, text marketing is probably the most underutilized feature in StayFi. So I see SMS or text marketing driving some of the best results for our customers, but to date, it's been one of the most underutilized portions of StayFi. So hopefully today I can shed light on why you should start using text marketing and how it can add a lot of value to your business and how it's actually one of the easiest channels to use for marketing, because unlike email where you have to write longer copy and implement design, text is all very short form, and so you can send out a marketing text in a matter of a minute or two, while an email takes maybe more time, and you can actually get more results from text marketing. The reason is text marketing has much higher open and engagement rates than email marketing. So when we go through examples, we'll see text marketing campaigns that are getting upwards of 10% click-through rates through StayFi. We know that's way lower than an email where it could be 1 or 2% at best. So if you send an email to 100 people, only 2 or 3 on average are going to go through to your website and actually look at that offer. If you send a text message to 100 people, 10 plus of those people are actually going to click through and look at what you are sending. So there's just a huge increase in open and click-through rates when you do text marketing. And so that's why it's a really great channel to add to your marketing stack. And we'll talk all about how it works in StayFi. So the steps for setting up StayFi, text marketing in StayFi start with setting up your SMS account and applying for a toll-free number. I'll explain what that is in a second. And then we have some automated campaigns in StayFi, both a Wi-Fi welcome text message and a rate and review text message. I'll cover those in depth here and how to use those two campaigns. And then finally, we have something called group texts. That's where you're just sending a text message to all of your previous subscribers, and we'll go into detail about all the different types of campaigns people are sending and how they're working for them. Starting with setting up your account, what you're going to do in StayFi, and so I'll just switch over to the StayFi page, is you want to obviously go to the text marketing section, which is right here. And then step 1 is to toggle on collect phone numbers. So that is the first part, is you just want to toggle this piece on right here in your text marketing tool, which is collect phone numbers. What this is going to do is it's going to automatically add to all of your splash pages the phone number field and an additional opt-in checkbox for text marketing. So once you toggle on collect phone numbers and you go over and look at one of your splash pages, you'll see that it has the text marketing box right here, or phone number collection field. And there's going to be a new checkbox for opt-in for SMS news and offers, which is what someone will have to keep checked in order to get opted into your SMS campaigns. So for instance, if a guest were to uncheck this and keep this first one checked, they would be opting in just for email and not for text. So by having both checked, the guest is opting into both text and email. Once they've opted in to text marketing, you'll see them under the contacts here. So this contacts here is just going to show you each guest and their current SMS opt-in consent, and you can see who is opted in. This is a test account with fake data, so it looks very weird that it's all no. Obviously, you're going to see a lot more yeses in your own account because this is just fake data that we put in here. Once it's on, the way you pay for text messages is also pretty different than other tools in StayFi. So unlike our email and Wi-Fi tools, which are subscriptions, text marketing in StayFi is credit-based, which means you only need to pay for the credits that you're going to use for sending. And there's kind of also volume prices when you someone is complaining the volume is very low. I would just check on your own computer because I know that we're kind of the microphone is set up as it normally is. So if anyone else is having issues with hearing me, please just let me know. But it should be the same as always. Okay, great. Sound fine to me. Thank you so much. Yep. So going back to text marketing credits, you can purchase bulk credits up here. So you can see here, as you buy more, the cost per credit goes down. And just to explain the pricing here, sending to a US and Canadian phone number, 1 credit equals 1 send. In other countries, text messaging is just more expensive to send. And so we have to pass that cost on to you. And so UK, Australia, South Africa, South Korea, China, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Portugal, those are 2 credits per send. And then all other countries are 3 credits per send. Again, you can purchase credits up here. You can pick how many you want to purchase. For most of you, you're sending to mostly US and Canadian numbers. And then down below here, you can set up an auto refill. So basically, if you have some of the text automation set up, you'll probably want to set up an auto refill. So it will refill when you get to a low balance. And so you can pick here also what refill amount you want to select. And that way, whenever you get below 25 credits, it will, for instance, add 5,000 credits to your account whenever that takes place. So definitely recommend turning on auto refill if you're going to be using some of our automated text marketing, which I'll show you in a second. And then the next 2 steps are to set up your autoresponder and then verify your business. So just to be clear, the StayFi text marketing tool is a one-way tool, meaning that it's not meant for two-way communication. So we're only sending marketing text messages out. We're not giving you a new place to communicate with guests. That's just really important to understand. So what we do is if a guest does write back to the number that you're sending the text message from through StayFi, you write an autoresponder message. So for instance, in this case, I wrote, "This inbox is not monitored. Please contact us here for assistance." Or you could do an email and a number, right? So this way you can let guests know your preferred method of communication if they do happen to write back. And that can just be really clear that this is one-way marketing. It's not meant for conversations. And we obviously want to keep all the conversations you're having with guests in whatever platform you prefer to do that in. And we're not trying to create a new place for you to talk to guests. And that's just important to understand. And then the final piece here, which is really important, is to verify your business and apply for a toll-free number. So just over here under business verification, you're going to have to enter in some info and apply for a toll-free number to send from. So there have been some important changes over the last year or so around text marketing all over the world, actually, to try to reduce the number of spam texts that are being sent. And part of that is adding new verification steps to make sure that legitimate businesses are sending text messages and that they're following with the rules, for instance, like having people opt into text marketing. So before you can send texts through StayFi, you're going to have to verify your business through this form. And when you go set up any campaign, it's going to ask you to do this first. It's really important that you put in your legitimate company website and your legitimate contact information and your legitimate legal business name here and your address, and make sure this is all accurate. Because if you don't put in, for instance, a real website, your number will most likely be rejected and you won't be able to send and we'll have to reapply. It can take upwards of 2 to 6 weeks to get approved. We see some people, it can happen in as quick as 7 days. So just make sure you fill out this information accurately. And then once you are approved, you get issued a toll-free number, and that's what we're texting from. So we're not texting from one of your numbers or a random other number. We use toll-free numbers for all of the marketing texting, and that's just because toll-free numbers are actually the easiest type of number to apply to get to send from for this type of marketing messaging. So it's the easiest pathway to get approved, and you just want to make sure you fill this out accurately because you won't be able to send any messages through StayFi until you get approved for a toll-free number. I just want to make that clear. So this is important that you do this right when you start collecting numbers so that you can start texting within a week or two, hopefully, of submitting this information to get approved. Here's a little more information on the autoresponder. So business verification can happen up faster than 2 to 6 weeks, so 7 days. Autoresponder, make sure you fill this out as we're not two-way messaging. I will say that if you get rejected from business verification, we will help you reapply to try to get approved. And you will get an email from us the moment you either get approved or rejected. Most people are approved, but just make sure if you are rejected, it's typically because something in that form you filled out was not correct. It will help to remedy that with you so that you can get approved for a toll-free number and you can start sending. Now I'm going to start talking about the campaign. So once you're approved and you've funded your account, you can start sending messages. And like I mentioned before, there's 3 types of campaigns in StayFi. The first one, and I think one of the best ones, is the Wi-Fi welcome text. So this is a text that's sent to every guest the moment they log on to the Wi-Fi and have opted in for text marketing. So once you are approved for your toll-free number, you can start sending this. And what's nice about this message, as you can see here on the right, is you can include dynamic content. And one of the best things to include is a link to your homepage in StayFi, where hopefully you've added a bunch of upsells, which we covered in the last section. And so in StayFi, what that looks like is under Overview here, Wi-Fi welcome text message. You toggle this on and you can hit Edit. In here, this is all the dynamic content below you can insert. This is a pretty standard message I see a lot of people sending, which is just, hey, first name, welcome to property. It's important if you do insert property here that your property names are, not like codes or other, weird nomenclature you might be using. So I noticed that sometimes when people import the properties from their PMS, they have, like property IDs as a name. You can go and change those names so that the property name you're sending to guests, makes sense. So it's, like the cozy cabin and not like property 123. And then you can say find all essential information in our homepage, and then you click homepage URL down here. And that means the guest is going to get a link to the homepage for the property that they're in. And it's a reminder what can be on your homepage. So if I go in here and view one of the homepages that we set up here is on here, we have the book again link, the guidebook link, your website, amenities, that's the Hostco store. Here we did the custom button with the Hostco store so you can purchase late checkout right from the homepage. Local attractions is our integration with Viator. And then here's an example of where we created a custom button to purchase one of our favorite tours from Viator. I'm not going to go into the homepage setup and Viator and Hostco today. So if you want to learn more about those, definitely watch our last marketing mastery session where we go into a lot of detail. But essentially, you can make sure that your guests will see this when they log into the Wi-Fi. But now by including the link in your welcome text, they're going to have this on their phone for the whole stay. So they can go back and purchase a late checkout or go and look at the local attractions or shop amenities right at any point during the stay because you've delivered it right on their phone right when they logged into the Wi-Fi for the first time, and you shared it with everybody there who's opted in, which is going to be most guests staying in the property. So definitely number one thing to include in that welcome message is a link to your homepage if you're doing any of those types of upsells from the homepage that are, and this will just give those upsells more visibility and make sure that you can generate more revenue from those. And then also on the results page here, you're going to see all the different results for the campaign. Here, again, this is a test account, so I don't think any messages are actually loaded in here. But you will see for the welcome campaign, how many were sent, how many were delivered, how many people clicked the link, and how many people have unsubscribed from the campaign. So all that data is available to you right here. The next type of campaign I'll talk about is a rate and review campaign. The point of this campaign is to help you collect more 5-star reviews from guests outside of the OTAs. So you may have great flows to get the booker to review you on Airbnb or Vrbo or Booking.com. But the rate and review campaign is to help you get 5-star reviews other places and also to solicit feedback from guests who don't want to give you a 5-star review. So the way that it works is the rate and review campaign is triggered some number of days after we collect the phone number. So you could say like 5 days later, it will send a link to that person to review you. On this page, they can select how many stars they want to rate you. If they give you 5 stars, it will then present them a page where you can pick if you want them to maybe go to Google or Facebook or TripAdvisor or your website, Google, most popular one. It will give them this option to go then review you, let's say on Google. If they give you less than 5 stars, instead of presenting them these links to give you a review, it presents them this page to provide private feedback. And what's nice is that you'll be able to see the results of all of these ratings right in this dashboard under ratings and review. So you'll be able to see which guests, for instance, clicked on Facebook or Google, and then also which guests gave you a negative review, and then also what they said. And so what some property managers or hosts have done is actually they send this review like on day 2 of the stay. And that way they actually can get, if someone does have negative feedback, collect it prior to them leaving and then leaving negative review on the OTA. So you can actually collect earlier feedback from guests and then address that feedback prior to the stay being over. So that's the kind of the 2 approaches. One is to wait until after the stay or, some number of days later, or try to collect it, day 1 or day 2 of the stay and get that earlier feedback. When you actually hit edit in the platform, this is what it looks like. So you can pick how many days after the guest connects to Wi-Fi. You can customize this message. And you can see here, you write the piece of the message that is before the link. So we're going to insert the link to go to the review page after whatever message you write here. And then you can customize the text here on the actual page. It will also load in the whatever splash page background you have set for that property is also what will appear behind the 5-star like kind of place where they're actually leaving the review. We default that the minimum stars to go to the actual review page is 5. You can make it lower, but I would keep it as 5. So then if somebody does leave you 5 stars, here's where you can put links to actually go to the different places to leave the review. Like I mentioned before, Google is the one I would focus on for a few different reasons we'll talk about in a minute. And the way you find your Google review URL, we give you those instructions right here. So you can read about how to actually go and generate that URL so that this will leave right to the leave a review page. And then finally, down below here, if somebody does give you less than 5 stars, here's the page that they'll see, and then they can then go and leave you that private feedback, which will, again, everything will be organized in the rating and review section. There's none in here, but you'll see all the 5-star reviews as well as those lower than 5 stars with whatever comments those guests left. And you'll see who left what. Here's an example of kind of why Google reviews is where I would focus for your business. You're going to need to make a business profile in Google, which is pretty easy to go do. And then you can go get that link that leads right to the review section. Google reviews are a really important component of your SEO So by having a lot of 5-star reviews, it's going to help your page rank better. Cabins for You is a company that has been doing this for a while, and we've helped get them hundreds of more 5-star reviews. Unfortunately, the one downside about having these Google pages is it can, most people are not going to go spontaneously leave you a 5-star review here if you don't lead them to it. However, the few people that might have a bad experience are going to may seek this page out to give you a negative review. So Cabins for You had a collection of 1-star reviews, and so now they've been using the StayFi review feature to get this rating to climb back up again. So right now we're at 4.3. I know they want to get higher. But using this feature has helped collect hundreds of more 5-star reviews, and it continues to boost that rating over time, which is going to help them in SEO and then also help them when people Google their brand or they Google Cabins for You, they'll see, 4.5, 4.6, hopefully soon on the right side here, and that will give people more confidence to book them directly, right? So we're definitely helping a lot of brands increase their Google reviews, and that's where I would focus because it's going to have a lot of knock-on benefits for both SEO and then also just having people trust you intrinsically when they search for your brand on Google. The next and last type of campaign are group texts. This is really where you can send anything that you'd like. So it's pretty open. And these are all one-off campaigns, as in, you send it to all the subscribers that have opted in to your text marketing. You can see here we do have the select audience button. This is really for future improvements to StayFi. So right now, the only option is to send messages to everyone who's subscribed to text marketing. This will hopefully change in the future, right? Where we'll give you more segmentation, but right now it's pretty blunt instrument where you can just send texts to everybody who's subscribed. And now we'll kind of just dive into some examples of what those can look like. Number one that we've seen a lot of success with are last minute availability or special returns, special offers to return. So that will show some examples, but that could be promo codes and then also, letting people know that you've had a cancellation and then you have like maybe a special offer to fill that weekend, or maybe we saw a brand do, for instance, when we had the eclipse here in the US, it was like 2 weeks out and they said like, hey, we have 3 properties left for the eclipse, make sure you book them. And those all 3 got booked through that text message. So it can be very powerful around this last minute availability or special offers. Obviously, if you have upcoming special events or one of a kind experiences in your area, you might be sending an email newsletter about that, but then layer on a text message so that you're reaching as many people as possible. Again, holidays, popular times to vacation. And then if you launch new properties or locations, that could be another thing to text people about and amplify the messaging that you have in your email marketing campaigns. And then finally, for all those campaigns, like I showed in the dashboard, you can measure them all. So for any type of campaign, whether it's a automated welcome campaign or a rate and review campaign or a one-off campaign, you'll see the sent, delivered, clicked, and unsubscribes. And so one thing to note is that when we switch from normal numbers to toll-free numbers, the delivery percentage increased a ton. So it was dropping a lot because of all these regulatory changes. And by doing the toll-free approval number, now it's back up at 80, 90%. So this is from an older campaign where we were still struggling with deliverability, but now you'll see from some of these examples, it's much higher. Is there still some filtering, or maybe people have opted out in another way where it doesn't show up as unsubscribes, but delivery is still much higher than it used to be, and we're still working to improve that. Here are some examples of campaigns from Brantley Family Retreats, and so we'll kind of just walk through some of these. And you can see they've tried a ton of different things. So one example right here on the top left is Silver Dollar City tickets now available when you book your stay with us directly. And so in this case, they were giving people who book directly that extra like add-on or activity. Next to that, they had a last minute stay. So this would link to one of the properties they had available. And then again, you can see here, it was sent to 900 people and they had 86 clicks. So that's a very high click-through rate for any type of marketing. Here, $100 off code with text 100 for this weekend and late night checkouts for 3+ days. So a lot of offers in here. They offer, again, late checkout for direct stays, so not even a monetary benefit. They did a promo code here, and that's great to do a promo code because you can really measure that easily in your PMS in terms of like, did they come from this campaign? And they see booking come from it. This is an interesting one. The summer road trip is that you can actually insert into the text marketing campaign the name of the property they stayed at last. So you can direct them right to that property. And also, if you associate a listing URL with each of your properties, you can also, so for instance, if you on your homepage have a, book again link for that property, you can also insert that right in the text marketing so that it will take guests right to the property they stayed at last time. So even though the group text message is being sent to all guests, you can use these fields to market the specific property again. So like book the same property that you stayed in last time, and you can insert listing URL here, which is pretty cool. And so they did that in this message right here. Here's just an example for Cabins for You of their rating campaign. You can see here they have a crazy high, like 25% of the people are clicking on the rate and review campaign to leave the review. So that's one of the ways we're helping them generate all of those hundreds of Google reviews. And this is just, you can see here, this is not all time. This is just in the last 7 days. We've had 286 people do the review process through this text message. And that's, almost 25% of people getting the message are going to do the review. So that's just shows you the speed at which you could increase your Google reviews if you set up one of these campaigns and you have a decent number of guests coming through your properties. And then here's just some examples of more group messages being sent to all subscribers. Here they actually did a giveaway. So I think that's a very cool example of something you could text all your guests if you're running giveaways or promotions. Here you can have people interact with that here. Below that, again, using a promo code, welcome 15 for 15% off in April. And below that here, another promo code for 15% to save off the fees and $40 on your visit, right? So you can see here that the 15% did a much higher open rate than this message. I think this was a little more complicated. Saying 15% on fees plus $40. I think using this promo code above here is just a lot more clear. And you actually see here this one, which I think was a little confusing, which was the last one, had 20 unsubscribes. But these other two messages, which I think were a little simpler and cleaner, had much lower unsubscribes. So as you send messages, you can see what guests are clicking on, and then also which type of messages are driving higher or lower unsubscribe rates. So you can really start nailing in what the right voice and tone is for your campaigns that are going to work. Finally, here's the last case study we're going to look like. Here, instead of discounts, you can see right at the top, they are advertising an event in the area, so the Copa America Cup. So you can see they have, limited spots available, book July 4th, Formula One, and then finally like Miami Swim Week. So they're very like event driven, and I like that because in this way it's kind of their audience is kind of being trained as to like what type of text marketing to expect from this brand, and they're doing it on a regular enough basis. And you actually see here, maybe the click rates aren't as high, like we're more in like the 5 to 6% range, but the unsubscribes are also incredibly low. So while you may not be getting as many clicks in some of these, unsubscribe rate is super low. So it's being, really selective about these great events, and they're still getting direct bookings from these text messages. One other thing, just to be clear, is that when you set up a group text message, and if you just put in your own URL, you're just going to want to keep this replace URLs with trackable links, because if you uncheck this, we can't tell how many people click your link. By checking this replace URLs with trackable links, we'll take the URL you enter in and we'll replace it with this StayFi styf.io URL, and that's how we can track how many people click it. So just make sure you keep this check mark on, in order so that we can track the number of clicks coming from your email. So finally, here's just a little summary, and then I see we have a ton of questions, some that we've already answered, but I can definitely go over those again. Number one, make sure you turn on phone number collection in the text marketing section of StayFi so you can start getting the numbers. Even if you're not sending yet, you want to just start collecting those phone numbers. The second piece is to apply for business verification. So, like I said before, we can't start sending messages to your guests until you have a toll-free number. I know it says 2 to 6 weeks here. It can actually take less than that, 7 days, but it can take a while. And it's just really important when you fill out that business verification information that you fill it out accurately, take your time, and that you have a website, as I know that's one of the key things they look for to verify that you're a legitimate business. Third piece is I would set up a Wi-Fi welcome text, and I would highly recommend inserting the homepage URL into that message. So that way, any upsells you're doing, you can then promote those more heavily. And then I would make sure on your homepage, if there's specific products or tours that you really are passionate about, like a late checkout or a specific tour in your area, use the custom buttons of the homepage to promote those specific items. The fourth is rate and review. Definitely recommend setting that up and definitely recommend leaning into Google reviews first, as that's going to be the most impactful when it comes to SEO. And so make sure you have a Google business page and that you set up the ability to get reviews there. And then you can start driving a ton more 5-star reviews to that page. 5 is we went over a ton of examples of how you can do group text to past guests. Promo codes, as you saw, work great. Last minute availability works great. And then events and local things people are excited about or want to come back also work really well there. So experiment and you can see results from those campaigns and know what's working, what drives high click-through rates, and also lower unsubscribe rates, because that's really what's going to be the right, tone that you want to set. And that's the last piece there, is measure results and fine tune. Now we can go through some of the questions here. Someone asked about, do you recommend requiring text message opt-in? So when you turn on text marketing, we will add the phone number field and the text marketing checkbox. By default, it is pre-checked, but we cannot require guests that they must check it because that would violate laws around text marketing. So we always have to let guests uncheck that box before they get on the Wi-Fi to be compliant. That's also why we don't let you import. I get this question a lot. We don't let you import phone numbers outside of StayFi. It's just too risky. If we had some people, let's say, import numbers that they did not get opt-in for and start sending messages, it could damage deliverability for all StayFi customers and mark us as like a platform that facilitates spamming. So we're just very particular that we only allow phone numbers on our platform that we have collected the opt-in directly. So we don't let you import phone numbers from outside. This is why on the next question, someone asked if you have a StayFi account integrated with a PMS, do the phone numbers automatically populate? No, we do not pull in phone numbers from your PMS. Well, you can send perhaps people text marketing through your PMS or other services that's transactional. So it has to do with their booking. We're a purely marketing text platform. And that means we really need to get that opt-in that this person has agreed to receive marketing text messaging from your brand, which is why we don't pull in phone numbers from third parties or let you upload it. We always need to collect that message. Someone asked about what the credits, is it per line or per text? So to be clear, each credit gives you the ability to send a text of up to 160 characters. So you will see when you write a text message, it's going to decrease that allowable character count. You can send longer text messages that are more than 160 characters, but it's going to cost 2 credits. And then international text, so if you send to non-US or Canadian number, it's going to be 2 or 3 credits depending on the destination. And you can see that on the pricing or text credit page. Sadly, right now, we don't have WhatsApp as part of StayFi text marketing. That's definitely the number one request from non-US customers. So I would say, right now, this product is very US centric, as you can see from just A, it's much cheaper to text in the US, and B, US individuals are much more likely to want to do text marketing as opposed to European customers or Latin American customers that are much bigger into WhatsApp. So, WhatsApp is something we are looking to add in the future, but don't have right now. Um, so, someone asked about the toll free number. Like, can you use it for anything else? No, the toll free number we are getting you approved for is only for text marketing from StayFi, and that's the only reason, only thing it's for. The toll-free numbers will always be US based, which is again a concession. I agree, not ideal for non-US customers. So, frankly, I really think this tool, sadly, is really for our US and Canadian customers primarily. But if you're okay with texting from a US toll-free number and you're not in the US, go right ahead. And I do know some people do that. Um, Someone asked about the rate and review feature. If it's can be timed to like the length of stay in the PMS. Fortunately, not yet. Right now, it's always number of days post we collect the phone number. So you always set like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and it'll be sent after so many days after we collect their number to begin with. Someone asked about Google reviews. Um, yes, and someone said like, "Oh, we had Google reviews and we only were getting negative reviews from like one or two groups of guests that had a bad experience." Yeah, that's why I would say, unfortunately, people typically don't find people are not going to go and organically discover your Google page to give you a 5-star review, but you may have a very few people that want to go out and give you a negative review. That's why I think it's really important to set up a tool like StayFi so that you can start collecting those 5-star reviews on a regular basis, just because having that business page is going to be really helpful for SEO, business discoverability, and then trust. So if you can and you have a decent number of guests staying with you, I would start collecting those 5-star reviews. Also, if someone does give you a 1-star review, you can like contest it within Google, so you may be able to get some of those removed if they were like harassing you in an inappropriate way. Someone asked about opt-outs unsubscribe. Can you send an email campaign to let them opt back in? Not today. If somebody does come back and stay with you again, they can re-opt in. But once they've opted out of text marketing, we can't get them to opt in through another channel unless they come back in. Someone asked if they already have an A2P phone number we use for supporting comms. Can we use added here? Sadly, no. Right now, we only send the text marketing messages from toll-free numbers that you're getting approved through StayFi. So you can't use other phone numbers with our platform that have been provisioned to you other ways. And like I said before, our marketing messaging is only one way and not meant for two-way communication. Um, Someone asked about, are people still likely to have good review on Airbnb if they left one on Google? Yes, I say our customers haven't reported any decrease in the number of 5-star Airbnb reviews just because they left you a review on Google. Also, most of the people who leave the review on Google are going to be the non-booking guests who aren't even in that Airbnb, um, who wouldn't be eligible to give you a review there. So most of the guests we are getting reviews from for Google, for instance, are going to be non-booking guests who couldn't have given you a review anyways. Sweet. That was a ton of questions, but it looks like we went through all of them. Thank you so much again. And then if there's anything else, that wasn't clear or you want to go back to and watch again, this will get published very shortly on StayFi's YouTube channel. And then will also be sent out in our newsletter so you can come back and watch this whole webinar. And then I definitely recommend, since the welcome message is so tied potentially to your homepage and upsells, definitely go back if you haven't seen it, watch our webinar on upselling, because that's going to give you a ton of ideas of how to improve your homepage to drive more conversions and drive more revenue for your brand. And then text marketing can play a really great part in getting more guests engaged with your potential upsells. Awesome. Yep. So we'll wrap up a little earlier today and then definitely come back in 2 weeks because I'm really excited to dive into more email marketing case studies. Number one question we get at StayFi is what should I be sending? And we're going to go through all sorts of successful examples and also examples of emails that are only text and only take a few minutes to set up. So if you've been intimidated by email marketing or not sure what to send, we're going to show you exactly what to send, how to send it, and make it as easy as possible to be successful with email marketing. So thanks again and have a great rest of your week, everybody.